Epilogue. Like the flames that engulfed the mansion that night, whispers quickly spread across Luxborn City after the incident. Officers who investigated have simply deemed it an unfortunate accident. Regardless of the truth, Luke Wright files criminal charges against Briar Realty Corporation after, for undisclosed reasons to the public, forcing the latter to declare bankruptcy. A move that has merely stoked the rumors further. But for those who still believe in the stories of the old and those who know the truth, it is but a testament to the curse and the secrets that the Ermengarde mansion has hidden for centuries. If there will come a time those will finally be revealed, only the ashes of the new ruined mansion know. However, on nights when the wind howls and thunder booms across the sky, some still claim hearing of voices where it once stood. Of cries and wails that fill the night and desperate calls of help for anyone who dare listen. As for those who once tread its was Johannes still up there burning? As for those who once treaded its halls, unable to settle their differences, Hannah Wright eventually files for divorce with Luke Wright. Good. For several months, they become the subject of gossip and the mass media in the city. In spite of this, the two have uncharacteristically remained tight-lipped on the circumstances of their separation, though many assumed it's the inevitable falling out stemming from the trouble during the couple's housewarming party. To everyone's surprise, however, Luke Wright quietly accepts the court's decision and disappears from the Evans heiress life without creating much fuss. The once couple has kept an amicable relationship, though, and the businessman is seen visiting Hannah Evans on the day of their twins' birth. Aww. With the Wright couple's separation also comes the Wright Evans conglomerate split up. Although the Wright enterprise still managed to do well in the business with Evans Incorporate back as a competitor, each tech places its CEO on the company under legal spotlight months later. This time, however, with the then Chief Inspector Harvey Lee's sudden absence, the businessman isn't able to escape close scrutiny. In an investigation led by LPD's Detective Inspector Ashton Frey, all of Wright's Enterprise's illegal business dealings within the past 10 years come to light. Although his involvement with all crimes is still being investigated, the disclosure has caused a huge outcry, especially from the city's business sector. Sued on multiple grounds, the company is ultimately forced to shut down. Oddly, when Luke Wright steps out of his office one last time, there's only a small smile on his face. To avoid public outrage, the once influent businessman immediately leaves the city. All of his bank accounts have been emptied, including his Luxborn apartments, leaving not a single trace or clue where he might be hiding. The last anyone has seen of the man was on a flight bound for Ireland. To this day, no one has heard from him. Even as people from the old Wright Enterprise, who have all been left to deal with the aftermath, if Hannah Evan knows, she has kept mum about it. Though over the past few months, after the situation calmed, some have made claims of spotting him flitting in and out of the city, if only to check on those he has left behind. Following the company split, Hannah Evans reestablishes Evans Incorporate, becoming a CEO like her late father has always wanted for her. Though a bit out of practice and doubted by many people at first, the Evans heiress quickly finds her bearings and proves to be every bit as talented in the business as her parents. Oh, she cut her hair. Soon under her management, the new Evans Inc. flourishes, becoming one of the prime investment and finance companies in Luxborn City. Months after her recovery, Marianne McCullough heads back to her homeland, ready to close a chapter of a past she has left hanging for so long. Here she visits Lorraine's grave, asking for forgiveness from the girl she once loved. Something she has intentionally avoided for years. Although the terror of what she has witnessed inside the Ermengarde mansion still clings to her, she bravely chooses to move on from it, turning a new leaf by focusing on a new branch of her interior design company and leaving her interior design company at Luxborn in the hands of her secretary instead. Although she never returns to the city after, she is frequently seen visiting to check on the people who she has become acquainted with in her years there. Having finally accepted herself, she won't deny she's a happier place now. Despite making Ireland branch of her interior design company her focus now, Marianne continues to cater to her most avid patrons in Luxborn when requested. And after her work in the Ermengarde mansion, Hannah Evans has never trusted another to handle the design for any of the places she owns. Upon moving back to Evan Mansions after her divorce, Marianne's name is the first thing she calls, and the woman is quick to fly back to the city at the socialite summons. Not only helping with the decorations of the old place, but also assisting with the renovations, much to Hannah's delight. Since then, the two women have kept a close friendship and business relationship. Often they can be seen going around town together when Marianne's in town, and the Evans heiress can be heard recommending the designer to her peers during parties. Some even may go so far as to say Hannah Evans has confided with Marianne McCullough during the tumultuous time of her divorce with Luke Wright. Whatever the case, one can't deny that both women have found a confidant in each other. With help from family and friends, Zachary Steele is soon able to open a photography studio of his own. something he has only dreamed of having as a child. Although he still hopes to get back to making indie films someday, client work and small projects has kept him mostly busy. Hectic as it may be, he can only be glad for the amount of work pouring in. It has made moving on from the incident in the Ermengarde mansion easier, if not faster. But while there are still nightmares, with support from his family, his doctor, and his own drive, the dark images have finally turned into a pleasant dream. He's aware he won't ever truly forget, but there's no longer running away. At times, when he's not busy or after a hard day's work, he thinks there's another story for the big screen to be told in that. An idea he may soon turn into a reality once time affords it. Unknown to many, Hannah Evans has also played a huge role in getting Zach's new studio up and running. But for all the latter's efforts to try and thank the woman, she insists keeping her investments a secret as she merely wishes to help out, having been impressed by his skills in the field during the brief time they've worked together. A working relationship that continues to this day, as he's the only photographer she seeks at every single event she hosts, whether it's a simple social gathering or a company party. Look at the cute little kids there. Beyond work, they also remain close friends to this day, marked by frequent visits to his studio or casual talks over lunch or dinner. I was kind of hoping they were dating. A friendship that only seems to grow in time, especially after the businesswoman's separation from Luke Wright. Both has never directly answered what the real case may be. Oh, maybe they are together. That's nice. But it's clear that Evans heiress trusts the photographer enough to put her children, who are especially fond of the man, in his care every time she leaves out of town. In the months to follow, Rebecca Gales became a prominent researcher within Lexborn's major academic circle, especially after writing what she has discovered about Anselm Village and the Ermengarde Mansion. With help from Professor Andrew Clark, she's soon able to secure funding to continue her research, presenting her findings yearly at local international symposiums, is my guess. Is that word if I move the X out of the way? Now, at the tail end of her current study, she hopes to publish her first book, correcting all inaccuracies in the city's current history. A move supported by both colleagues, students, and friends alike. Though she knows she still has a long way to go before she can even begin to change people's minds about it. Professor Clark has warned her as much, she perseveres. Doing it not for herself, but for the sake of history the future generation must never forget. No matter how disturbing her experience with the curse may have been, she remains the worrywart she has always been. Even after what she has seen, she continues to fret over people she cares about, sometimes much to their frustration or embarrassment. But if there's one thing she has shifted, it's her relation with the people in their little group, particularly with Zachary Steele. In fact, on numerous occasions, she has been spotted dropping by his new studio, bringing the man food on days when he's swamped with work. They also seem to have grown more comfortable around each other. Maybe it's born out of their shared experience, or maybe the way they see each other has simply changed naturally due to the years they've known each other. Regardless of the way, it's a change the man welcomes and appreciates. In turn, he strives to return her kindness whenever he can. For all the horrors they've seen, who would have thought something good will come of it? Although not as frequently with his friends to recently due to work, when Ashton Frey finds the time, he sometimes helps Rebecca with her research. Mostly just to help her bring research materials. Despite Rebecca's old feelings for the man, they remain good friends to this day. She never brings it up again after the night of her confession. Once is enough. While she still cares for Ashton as a dear friend, it is clear she has already moved on from her childhood crush. Finally accepting this part of her life that has already gone by, much like everything that has changed between them. And with his acceptance comes more selfless person who generally cares for her friends, beyond any selfish feelings she used to cling to. Looking back now, she recognizes that how things played out is certainly for the better. Not only for others, but also for herself. With newfound courage, Isabella Santos finally chooses to pursue what she really wants for herself. Having made enough to keep her family afloat for years, and with her blessing, she quits her job at Briar Realty Corporation and takes a scholarship offer from the local university. Though remarkably out of practice and unsure if she'll be able to keep up by the time she returns to university, she finds her feet soon enough with help from people close to her. And with her confidence in her skills growing, so do the number of people recognizing her and her work. It doesn't take long for several award-giving bodies to take notice of her. For all her accomplishments, however, she has never truly forgotten what happened at Ermengarde Mansion. The images still remain in her, and on particularly unpleasant nights, terror continues to visit her dreams. She knows those won't ever disappear from her life. It has become a part of her in the same way death has permanently taken from her. However, she's no longer afraid. With a brave face, she carries on, earnestly wishing that someday she'll be able to paint brighter, more vivid thoughts on her canvas. Why do I feel like crying? An honest portrayal of life and hope amidst the fear. Shortly after accepting the scholarship grant from Lexborn University, Isabella moves from Salemwell residence in favor of staying in a dorm close to her campus. Although Rebecca Gales quickly offered assistance for the move, she does admit she will be missing her neighbor of more than 5 years. When all is said and done, she has become fonder of the girl over the years, and with their shared experience over the curse, they have only grown closer. Isabella leaves with a promise to visit every once in a while, and even though she still jokingly complains that Rebecca's bossy attitude, she confesses that she also misses the woman's fussing. After all, in a place miles away from her real family, Rebecca is countries. Rebecca is still the closest thing she has to a sister. More than a year later, once everything in their respective lives has settled, Zachary Steele and Isabella Santos finally hold their first exhibit together. A project that has been in the making for almost 2 years after the photographer casually brought it up to other artists. While merely intended as a small event, it has been surprisingly attended by several members of Luxembourg's upper class and art enthusiasts. Although only a few of the pieces have been meant for sale, the show has brought prominence to Zachary and Isabella's names in the city's art scene. It has since been followed by several other exhibits by the two, both in and out of the city. Currently, they are planning to hold their first show overseas. Yet, even with this unexpected, overwhelming fame, friendship between the two has remained strong. Theirs, after all, is a bond that goes beyond being mere partners in a small project. He's her family as much as she is his. While she's aware that she still has plenty of ways to go, getting back to school has also opened a lot of opportunities for Isabella. At times, part-time work has started to come in droves, and she's able to support herself financially through her art alone. Something she has only dreamed of as a child. And when clients are generous enough, she's able to send money back home, despite her family's reassurances. One such client is Marianne McCullough, interior design company, who frequently commissions her for murals after the woman has learned of her skills. Though at times she finds it difficult to keep up with the interior designer's standard for quality, it's a job and challenge she's only too happy to accept if it means doing what she loves. Following his success in bringing the Luxembourg firm case to a close, Ashton Frey receives a recommendation to transfer to Luxembourg's lead agency against organized crime. An endorsement eagerly backed by the newly appointed successor to the late Chief Inspector Lee, Abigail Harris. Knowing he'll have more resources, leeway, and a bigger chance of ultimately bringing Luke Wright to justice, Ashton Frey accepts. He still warns the people close to him against Wright and his associates, but only a friendly reminder now, more than anything. Though he does worry, he believes they are wise enough to know what they are doing and trust their judgment. For now, he has decided to leave the evidence and the law to speak for itself and take care of the man once the proper time comes. Nowadays, police work and operations keep him busy, sometimes taking away from the city he grew up in for days on end. A rare thing for him to enjoy once upon a time. At this time, he never loses his drive, simply growing more determined after having finally found a clear purpose to close the rush and excitement he dreamed of as a child. Although Ashton still keeps mum about specific details of his work, his experience with the curse has slowly taught him how to open up, especially to those he knows that genuinely care for him. He still has a long ways to go, he knows that, but for the sake of the people who still are with him, those who have chosen to stay, he hopes that there will come a day when he no longer has to hide behind his own lies, a day when he is no longer afraid of facing the truth in his own words. On his off days, Ashton is usually seen loitering around Zachary Steele's studio, either to help him out on one of his pet projects or exasperating the older man on purpose. Either or, it's mostly the latter. At certain times, he's volunteered to model for one of Zach's projects in spite of the photographer's reassurance that it's not needed. Regardless, Ashton insists, before complaining about how meticulous the whole process is hours later to Zach's utter amusement. Though sometimes they may get into small, trivial arguments, things have stayed cordial between the two. If anything, the ordeal they've both gone through has merely strengthened a friendship the detective didn't expect to find in anyone. Holy jish. Okay. Between the lingering trauma and their measly attempts at normalcy, it takes a few months for the awkwardness to finally lift for both Ashton Frey and Isabella Santos. Of several weeks trying to find their voice and remembering how to act around each other despite enduring affections. Once the unease fades, there's only their usual banter and a rapport to fall back on, a casual talk and friendly jibes. And for both of them, it's easy, like breathing, like coming home after another journey, a comfort in spite of the things they've gone through. Their days may still be filled with petty arguments and light teasing, but in the aftermath, when all of this has been said and done, something constant has already been forged between them. A quiet, steadfast thing they can both hold on to as they both carry on. They never talk about what happened inside Ermengarde Mansion nor the curse. Not in friendly conversation, never in casual banter. It is a memory better left alone, never to be disturbed. But on days it comes back to them when the memories are particularly vivid, it is in each other they find solace. In Rebecca's constant reassurances, in Zach's gentle encouragements, in Ashton's earnest attempts at a quip, and Isabella's warm smiles. A slight squeeze on their shoulders, a tight grip on their hand until the unease finally subsides. The curse may have taken a lot from them, but the friendship hits one thing that remains, endures. Okay. I'm going to assume I got the best ending, because everyone lived. But we'll see as this goes along. But the whole story, it sounds like, at least in the past, Takako, slave girl, was actually in like the sex trade slavery, was freed by the mistress of the mansion when she closed that down, and she took her in as a servant. She finds out that Takako, and she's a little bit, she might not be super nice, despite her thing, but she finds out Takako and her husband, or fiance, or whoever it was, they're having an affair, had the two murdered. See, with music and actual, like, her singing correctly, it sounds better. This is the same karaoke song. I wish I could skip this though. Oh. Okay. Dear you, if you're reading this, it means you finished playing the game in one way or another, and we thank you for the time you spent playing the letter. The game is our passion project more than anything, and we sincerely hope we delivered and bring you a one-of-a-kind visual novel. No, you really didn't, because Deathmark is a thing. And I prefer Deathmark, I'm sorry. The letter is, hopefully, the first of many visual novels coming from us. If you like what we did with the game and would like to support us, please consider donating to our Patreon account. You can also follow us on social media. Our user handle is Yang Mobile. Thank you for so much for everything. Love, YYM team. Now, I will probably get another one of theirs when I feel like reading, but they need to take a small chapter from Deathmark and add a little more gameplay to the novel. Because they add a tiny bit, but one, it's kind of hard and a little confusing because you don't really get warmed into it. But it's almost all reading, and Deathmark is a lot of reading. And I had to read that one too many times because of like camera glitches and shit. I even had to do all the voices because like I don't even get like those ones didn't even have them talk for you. Like you had to read. But they at least add, here, look around the room, find stuff. They had, okay, the fight scene's coming. They had enough that it was worth the reading. My lip is, I've been having like a numb tongue, numb lip lately. I'm starting to worry I'm having strokes. But yeah, I think it's a good game. They need to really double check their writing though, because there are a lot of errors in the writing, and that would trip me up as much as myself. I trip myself up plenty, so I can't jump on that. Like, I suck at reading. But there were many missing words, the wrong word, and maybe that's just because they don't naturally speak English, and double checking it, yeah. But overall, it was a good game. I'm glad to be done. Like, the chapters were too long. Like, just make smaller chapters. Smaller chapters, they can be of the same person, just smaller chapters, so people who are reading live, like I am, can go, okay, that's a good time to start. We can jump back in next time instead of going, oh shit, I have to be here for 6 hours reading this chapter, this one chapter. No. But yes, I did like the game. If I had to rate it, if I want to be nice, I'd give it a 7 out of 10 for a novella game, not as a game in whole. If I want to be realistic, I'd say a 6. But yeah, as a game, just as a game in general, like a 5 out of 5, because it's, it needs more, but it's not bad. I guess, oh, okay. Anything else I need to know? Anything that I want to see, like, what are the extras? What are we looking at? Let's see. Then we got pictures. I missed one. I don't know what this one, but those are probably ones depending on the choices you make, I'm guessing. I got 60, Epilogue 21%. That was, yeah. Got a lot of items. Didn't get all the pictures. Yeah, so I'm guessing depending on what you do will depend on a lot of things. I kind of want to just like, ooh, Jesus. I wonder like how much, so depending on your ending, obviously, you'll get different things. So you like, yeah, oops, hold on, go back. I didn't finish that. Hold on. Hey. How do I'm trying to scroll down here. It won't let me. Do I have to push Y? Ah. So I got one bad ending, but honestly, I'm glad that I divorced. They needed to divorce. They fucking were horrible. But yeah, you can, I guess, a lot of things get bad, but that's okay. And no romance endings. Oh dear. So I didn't get a true ending either, but fuck it, don't care. I think personally the ending is great because they're divorced. They needed to be divorced. Yes, Luke Wright needs to be brought to justice, so they're at least starting on that. I didn't want Isabella and Ash getting together because honestly, their relationship was built on him making her feel like shit half the time, and that's not a good relationship. He wasn't ready to have a relationship with her, nor she him. And it sounded like Hannah and Zach are getting close and maybe in a relationship too, or building to it, so that's good because I think they'd make a cute couple. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a good ending. I don't give a shit what anybody else says. I mean, maybe there was like, but I'm not playing this again. Period. I will look up other people's endings if I really care that much, and I don't because I think this is a good ending. What are the extras? These are like, okay. And then just credits again. I don't need a credits again. Thank you though. Nope, don't need them. Get me off this. All right, well, that's it. So I'm gonna go now. I'm done with this game. I'm gonna relax for a bit, and I already have my next game picked out, which is Pinstripe. But for now, I'm gonna go play. I have a new Story of Seasons game. Well, not really. It's a Rune Factory technically. The remake of Rune Factory 3 came out and I bought it because of course I had to collect, and I also got the new Harvest Moon game because again that's part of the collection of Rune Factory, Harvest Moon, Story of Season is all one big group since the company split. But yeah, gonna go do that. Gonna go relax because I have a day off tomorrow and I want to enjoy it. Alright. Bye. Okay, so I'm just gonna voice this in because I don't have the time to set up my camera. I did some research, a lot more reading, so I am very wrong about the story. And to get the best ending, I have to kill a bunch of people I don't want to kill. Basically, the good ending, or the real ending, is you sacrifice people to make the ghosts happy. I'm not okay with that. I'm good with not doing that. But for people who want to know without having to do the research or looking it up, the real story, from what I've gathered, is that Charlotte, the lady of the house, wasn't really in love with her husband, but had to marry a man for power status because people wouldn't believe she could rule on her own. She did save Takako from slave trade when she was young, took her into the house so she was a working servant, but not really a slave. She had feelings for the Lord, but did not she didn't actually sleep with him from what it sounds like, but I might be wrong there. But Charlotte actually ended up having an affair because she didn't love him. The maid found out, so Charlotte had the maid raped to remove her chastity and make her impure and all that shit. Wasn't gonna beat up. Wasn't gonna let the husband know, but the husband found out, called his wife a disgrace, was going to leave presumably with the maid, so she had them both captured and then had the guy murdered in front of her, in front of the maid, and he said he'd be back, and then had the maid blamed for it as a witch and thus burned at the stake. And yeah, but then the maid came back as a ghost and drove Charlotte insane to the point that she died too. And now, actually, there's two ghosts in the place, which is why one was calling Luke my love and the other one my lord, because they were different. And neither can really be at rest unless you put both of them to rest, and to do that you have to kill a bunch of people. And they believe that Luke is actually Charlotte's reincarnation and Hannah is actually the Lord's reincarnation, because of their personalities match the other ones in the opposite way. So Luke is not actually the Lord they think they want back. That's actually probably Hannah. But she's a girl, so they assume it's the other way around. But yeah, so from what I know, Hannah has to die, Ash has to die, and Marianne has to die. And yeah, no, I'm good. I am so good. But thanks. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm good with my ending. I think my ending is a happy ending. Fuck the ghosts. They can live on in misery. Fuck it all.